Hi guys, welcome to another video. Now, I should probably start by saying the title will say something about how this also talks about Dazzling, but because it is still only a few episodes in, this video will probably be like 5% about that. Most of it will be about A Splendid Match. So we should just dive right in. And whilst we're talking about Splendid Match, I feel like I should say this at the start. A lot of the problems that I have with it, not I don't even have that many problems, but the big problem that I have with the Splendid Match is that I wish it had actually been longer. It's 40 episodes, and I feel like they would have benefited with more episodes because you'll see more when I talk about the characters or the plot. Why I'm saying that, because I just feel like there's more, if they had more time, there's more things that could have been fleshed out more. So, anyways, let's just get into it. We'll talk about the characters first. The female lead, Gujin Shaw, I really enjoyed her. I think she was very unapologetic about who she is, and I really like that. I think sometimes when you have like rich female characters, sometimes there's like they try to hide how rich they are, or they're ashamed about it, or when people kind of say stuff about them being rich, they kind of try to downplay how rich they are, but she didn't do that. She was very unapologetic. And I even mentioned that she was kind of similar to the modern drama Shannon Me's female lead. Like, she was rich, she knew it, she owned it, and she was not going to let anyone bring her down about it. And it wasn't even something that she was going to try to hide. So I really like that because, like, why be ashamed? Your family worked hard. So, and even they work hard as well. So it's like, what are you ashamed about? So yeah, I just loved how unapologetically her she was. Her She was very quick to act. And honestly, I think I like that about her and the male lead. The fact that like she was very quick to act and he was more of a planner, like long game type of person. And she's like, no, I'm gonna get my revenge now. Which makes sense. They had different issues to deal with. So their strategies made sense for the things that they had to deal with. So yeah, really enjoyed her character, her her growth, seeing her from being like a young miss to like a young wife. I really enjoyed it. You could really see the difference in her maturity levels, like when she was younger and when she was older as well. So that was very fun to watch. Our male lead, I think I'm going a bit crazy when I was watching it because the amount of things I posted about how much I loved him were a bit crazy. So like, if you saw that, you didn't see that. Let's just let's all forget that happened because I feel like I was going crazy. But you know what? It's fine. I was in love and I still am. And I probably won't stop talking about him because genuinely he's very up there for me. But anyways, I really loved his character. Like, he was so strategic. I feel like I like people who are more long game about everything, like the planners, and you'll really see that in a lot of like my favorite male leads. Like when you talk about people from like the Double or Sorry Canning Palace, those type of male leads, like planners. Let's think ahead. Like those 10 steps ahead of everyone. Like I absolutely love that. Like when somebody does something and you think, oh my gosh, how are they going to get through this? And then you realize actually they anticipated this way back then and they already had a plan on how to counter it. Like, it just makes you feel more settled. Like, it makes you feel relaxed. Like, you know what? He's got you. Relax. He will be there. And that's who Chen Chayun was. Like, he was always there when he was needed. Like, he just appeared out of nowhere and solved stuff. And the amount of aura that man had, I've spoken way too much about it, but we all know it. We all saw it. You saw it. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on because otherwise I'll be here forever talking about him. Um, yes, Xian, played by Win Win. Oh, my heart hurts for his ending. Do you know what? I will say this, and I will like. I feel like this whole we kind of have to talk about the whole thing of separating the actor and the character. A lot of people were not looking at his character as just a character. People are looking at, oh, but it's win-win, the actor. And it's like, I do understand he's a very beloved actor and K-pop idol, but that's not who he is right now. And I do feel like if we don't acknowledge how just his character on its own, then I feel like we're doing a disservice to how much work he's put in. Because if you can't look at a character and just see a character, but you're constantly seeing an actor, then are we not saying that he's not doing a good job? Because these are two different people. He's playing somebody else, but you can't differentiate that. So are you saying he's not a good actor? Exactly. I think he played Yeshian really well. Yeshian was really annoying in his own way. I don't get me wrong. I loved him and I understood why he was the way he was. And but it doesn't stop the fact that I still found him annoying in some bits. Like I just feel like he needed to grow up way faster than he did. He did come through in the end and he did have, big realization of like, I need to grow up. And he came through and he made his family proud. He made everyone proud. And I am very happy for him and I'm proud of him. And I did shed a tear when he met his ending. I still think that was the best ending he could have had because, like he said in his letters, it was better than the alternative, which was him in pain from the heart disease. So he's always known of his ending. So this was the best way for him to go. So in that aspect, I was in a weird way happy for him because the alternative was really sad. We'll talk about the nephew because I have forgotten his name, so we'll just say the male lead's nephew. I feel like everything that I had to say about him got ruined slash overshadowed by his little performance as the clown, because now whenever I see clips of the show or when I try to watch it, all I can see him is the clown and doing that thing with his head, and I'm struggling to move on. Like I don't know how to process that. Obviously, people who know more about Chinese opera are talking about like his role, like why that mattered, the fact that they made him a clown, of which I feel like you can kind of get the context even if you're not that familiar with Chinese opera, like why they made him a clown when they were gonna use him. So yeah, but the image still haunts me. It haunted him too, but I don't know what to say. Like that's just all I can think about. Like I genuinely forgot everything else about him because that's just in my eyes now. Like him as him performing. But at the start, right? And this again, I know I just said this about differentiate actors, right? But he annoyed me in Fated Hearts. So when he came in this role, I was like, okay, we're gonna give you a chance, but I don't trust you. Like the whole way he was just very emotionless at the start. I was like, there's very something suspicious about you. You know, when you have those characters where it's like they're basically just the statue, and you're like, you're gonna show us your real emotions later, and I'm sure we're not gonna like them. And boy, did he! Because what did he do all of that for? Like that was also pointless. Like, oh, I'm jealous of my uncle and the fact that he married a woman that I abandoned, and it's like, okay, but move on. Do you not love your uncle? Like, do you not love your uncle? But that, you know what? He never really saw that family as his family. So what he did doesn't really come as a surprise, because I'm forgetting which episode now, but there's an episode where he was talking to his aide and he was talking about how he's done everything he can to please that family. And it's like, well, you didn't have to do that. You know, you put this pressure on yourself because they just saw you as family. The amount of pressure they put on him is the amount of pressure they were putting on every other family member. So it's like, you did that to yourself. You added this pressure that nobody wanted you to have. But anyways, we move on to the female lead's brother, like the cousin, Lord Yawo, from her mom's side. I was hoping and praying and manifesting from the start that he had no feelings whatsoever for the female lead because she saw him as like an actual brother. So as the series went on and I could tell that okay, they're going in the direction I wanted, I could actually finally breathe because I was scared. I was scared that that was gonna be another one where he's like into her and I was gonna have to side eye him and it was gonna be messy. But we can all breathe. No, it did not go that way. Like he was just a good brother all the way to the end. So yeah, we're very grateful for that. Thank you, writers, because I needed that. Because between Yashian and his childishness, the nephew and his whatever the jealousy mess that was, we needed her to have like some sort of normal person in her life. So yeah. And then this is probably like my most interesting character in this, and that's Gulan, the female lead sister. She was so interesting to me because at the start when she came, I was like, oh, okay, is she gonna be a normal person? And then she started acting evil, and I was like, over a man that you already know that you can't marry anyway. So it's like, what are you doing this for? And then her character had a bit of growth later on, and I could actually like her again. And I ended up really liking her at the end, like I did, and I'm really happy that she got a character growth and they changed her arc because I was really scared it was gonna annoy me because I wanted more people on the female lead side, especially when we get to like her parents. So I was really happy that she also still had family in the end. So yeah, and that's also another one where, what like I said earlier, I wish they had more episodes because I would have actually loved to see her and her marriage more. Like when she finally married that guy, even though she said he looked like, did she say he looked like a lantern, a light, or something like that at the start? I mean, she sure changed her mind in the end, so we'll leave it at that. But yeah, I wish that we had had more time, that had more episodes, so that we could actually see what their marriage would look like. Because I just think he was very cute with the way he was very shy and could barely speak around her. I would have loved to see the type of marriage that they have because he just looks like a yes ma'am type of guy. Like she just leads and he just says yes ma'am as long as he can be around her, and I love that for her. So would have loved to see more of that. Would have also loved to see her be more of a businesswoman because she was now taking more of a serious role when it comes to running the business with Kujin Cho. So I would have loved to see her actually like doing some business stuff by herself where the like Kujin Cho is not there. So yeah, next time please give us more episodes. And then let's do Gujin Cho's parents. Her dad was a waste of space. I'm so sorry, but he was just a waste of space. Like I feel like if he was evil or if he was good, I would take it. But I hate stupid characters. Like actually get off my screen. He wasn't good. He wasn't bad. He was just useless. You know, again, we I hate this whole thing where we have the trope of like men who use women to climb higher and then they mistreat them. It's like, well, your insecurities are showing, babe. Next time you should have just left all those women alone. Because even the concubine woman, she had her flaws, but she was also duped into this because the type of marriage that she was promised was not the type of marriage she got. And for the fact that she actually left her family and hadn't seen them in over 10 years, in a way I sympathize. Because a lot of women wanted to get married at that time, so she thought she was winning something, and she in fact did not. So sad, sorrows. What can you do? It is what it is. But yeah, her mom. I'll be honest. At the start, I didn't like her mom because I did think you let somebody take away your daughter like that. You didn't fight that. You should have fought more. I know she was sick, but I just thought you should have fought more for your daughter. But I think the more we got to see her and her sickness, and then she talked about how troubled she was and the guilt she felt, I did feel for her. And I did hope for a better ending for her. But I do get it because it kind of they used her character's death as like a nexus point for the female lead's growth. So I'll accept that because it worked for the plot. So yeah, not much to say on her. I just felt sorry for her in the end. I do appreciate the fact that she tried to finally stand up for herself after all those years with the divorce letter. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out well for her, but her daughter still got her that divorce. So there's a plus side, I guess. And you know what? Who else? Who are the other characters? I feel like nobody else is really worth mentioning. What's her name? Shu Ching Lan. Again, I wish we had had more time because I do feel like she was interesting and the way she was chasing Yeshian was interesting for me. I would have loved to see her and see her live a different life after Yeshian was gone. Um, it is sad that this is like the second person that she was sort of into slash engaged to that then also passed away. Like she's got some bad luck, and I hope things change for her in the future. Like the next person she meets and likes will actually get to live a long life because she's not a bad person. So yeah, I do hope well for her. And then the cousin, the female lead's cousin, I'm forgetting her name, when they were at the main house with the grandmother and the annoying mom and father, all of them, bin them all. Like the greed, biblical amount of greed, like they were just greedy. They were greedy, they were useless, they were stupid. Actually, I take that back. The grandmother was not useless. Like she knew what she was doing. I feel like she's one of those people that she's greedy, but she really cares about this whole like reputation thing. So she was not stupid. None. I feel like all of them, except for the daughter, were not stupid. They were just pretending to be, if that makes sense. Because like the way then like they were plotting and the money thing, and it's like, okay, so you guys are very in tune when it comes to this. You're just all pretending to be something. But the one thing they had in common was the greed. They wanted money real bad. I don't blame them. I also want money, but yo, they were doing everything for that money. And you know what? It is what it is. Should we move to the villains? I will say, I was thinking this when I was watching it, like especially in the later episodes with the villains. I think what A Splendid Match did that's quite different to a lot of dramas when it comes to the villains is they sort of humanized them. They made us see them as like these people who are like everyday people because we got to see their everyday lives. We don't really get to see that most of the time. I'm thinking, for example, in Youthful Glory, most of the time that we see the villain, he's either in court or he's in a cave and he's feeding fish by himself in the dark. Or Legend of the Female General, he was always like in this dark room as well. Fated Hearts, that every time we'd see the villain guy, he was also either just in his home or in court. So, but this time was very different because we got to see their daily life. Like the one couple, I really laughed so much when the husband was like, "I don't respect anybody, but I do respect money." We got to have funny moments that make them human. So I feel like because of that, it really just makes you question the whole thing of like, are bad people just always bad? Are good people always good? Because they had good moments. They had moments that made you laugh, or even like the romance. Like that's another thing. Like everybody in this drama was coupled up. Everybody was really in love. Like all those couples, all the terrible things that they were doing, but they were like this. They were together. They were doing them together, and I like that because a lot of the times another thing you have in dramas is the husband is doing all the plotting or whatever, or the wife is doing all the plotting, whatever, and the other one is like very much unaware, but obviously they still suffered the consequences. But with this one, it's like, yeah, they both suffered, but it's like, well, they planned together, so it's fine that they're both suffering. But yeah, I really like the fact that we got to see them have like daily lives because it's like, the villains walk among us. You just don't know them because you're seeing them drinking their coffee or whatever. So I really like that. It made them human. It made them us see that Villains are not just always sitting in dark caves like it's a superhero movie. They could be sat right next to you right now, and you just don't know it. So yeah, I really like that. Let's talk about the romance. Oh my gosh, I really liked them. They're actually everything to me. First of all, the one thing I was like literally made me stop in my tracks. I think it's episode 19 or 20. The whole thing about the horse. Like Chen Yun had somebody wear her perfume whilst they trained the horse, so that the horse would recognize her Gujin Cho. Guys, what type of planning is that? Like, who does that besides him, of course? Who does that? Like, that man was planning ahead. He knew what he wanted, and he was determined to get it. Because yo, that is next level planning. Like, who's ever done that before? Exactly. Like, I just love like how intentional everything was. Like even the scene like earlier when she gave him like a pastry, and then later on, like years later, it was like, oh, you gave me this pastry. He's like, please. He remembered everything, even when he proposed the first time. Because you know earlier when she like fixes up the coat that he rescued her in, and we have that intense eye contact moment where he literally like stood up just looking at her. Yeah, when he proposes the first time in the snow, he's wearing that coat, and I just thought, details, babe. He remembers everything. Like, oh, I love him. What else? What else can I say? Even like the way he rescued her every time, like I was just obsessed. He was just everything. Like I just loved everything about him. Yeah. Let's see. I wrote some stuff down now because I was like, and the stuff I want to mention, and I know I'm gonna forget. Like, but again, it's all just random stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, Alicia says horse training, eye contact. Because I loved the eye contact. I was okay, let's talk about the whole kissing thing. Yes, the kissing scenes were not that great. However, I think this is Sisha's first time doing like a romantic drama, the male lead. So I'm like, you know what, I'll let it go because he's still new, and if he wants practice, I won't say it, but you guys can fill in the blanks of what I was gonna say next. I won't say it. So I have no apologies. Anyways, so yeah, the kissing were not great, but I feel like the eye contact for me made it up. Like I love an intense eye contact scene. Like eat it up every single time. That's one of the reasons why I loved Amidst a Snowstorm of Love. Like the male lead was just staring at her the entire time, and I eat it up every single time. I love eye contact. And when they have intense eye contact every time, I'm like, yeah, give me more actually. So I was okay with that. And I really loved how much hugging they did. I don't know why, but I really loved how much hugging they did. And I was saying this to a friend earlier that the intimate scenes were not awkward. They seemed very much both interested in each other. Something I don't like is when you have intimate scenes in dramas and it looks like one person is interested and the other doesn't want to be there. It just looks awkward. It looks like one person is being forced and they just can't enjoy it. So I really did like the fact that she took lead initiating, whether it was hugging or marital relations or whatever. Like it looked like she was just as interested in him as he was interested in her. So yeah, I really did appreciate that. What else? There was just so much. I feel like my brain is like in a fog, and all I can see is that scene of him on a horse where he's like, "Good luck," and then like he like turns, looking at her. Like I have replayed that many times in my head. So that's probably why I can't think us right now because all I can think about is how obsessed I was with him. So yeah. Let's talk about the wedding scene. Okay, I want to say this. I was watching the wedding scene, and if you look at the audience, the men were sitting whilst the wives were standing up. And I do understand this culture thing, like whatever. It's a lot of cultures anyway. But I was really just thinking, I was like, I was born at the right time because I cannot imagine standing there for however long that wedding was, whilst my husband is sat there comfortable. Like, they would have called me different names. I just couldn't picture myself going through that. Like, oh, he just gets to sit there and be comfortable, and I have to stand there. Like, I can't do that. I can't do that. But back then, it is what it is. We can't talk about historical and how women were treated back then because that's a whole separate conversation. So yeah, but I really enjoyed their wedding. I enjoyed the wedding scene and the wedding night. I'm sure they enjoyed the wedding night more than I did, but I don't know why I said that. But we're just gonna move on and pretend I didn't say that. Yeah, that's the best way to. Let's move forward. Anyways, after they got married, they were really cute. Like the constant touching, the constant hugging. Like, okay, good for you guys. At least we know how happy they are, no matter how short lived it was, because political problems came quickly, and even like that brother kidnapping her. I didn't like the fact that he kidnapped her, but I do appreciate the scenes that it gave us. So thank you, I guess. And also, let me apologize, right? Okay, guys, when the sister-in-law first was introduced, right? Why did she react the way she did? Because when the sister-in-law first comes in and she's told, like, oh yeah, Shin is released from prison, but he's gone to the temple, she looked jealous. Like, she looked like she was looking forward to seeing him specifically. And I thought, does she have feelings for him? Turns out she didn't, so I apologize for that. But I won't apologize for the way she was jealous about everything else. Very unnecessary. I do understand why she was jealous because obviously with Gujin Cho coming in as a wife and the fact that Chen Yun was the first legitimate son, of course she's threatened because then technically Gujin should be the one who runs the household, and that's something that she's been doing for years, so she doesn't want to give that up. So I appreciate that, but it was just like, at least wait till she says she wants to run the house before you start doing all of this. But anyways, in the later scenes we see her redemption, so it's fine. We'll move on. There's just so many scenes, and I feel like when I stop recording, I'm going to start remembering certain things I wanted to say. But you know what? Oh yeah, my favorite scene of them all together. Actually, I don't know what episode it was. I think it's episode 18 when he thinks that she's moving to Shanxi and he like chases after her on horse. That conversation that they have, where he's like, maybe I should take you back so that you can actually think about it under my watch. Um, that was my favorite scene in the entire drama. I think I might be lying, but it was really up there for me. The way she's like, you're abusing your power. And he's like, once in a while, it won't hurt. I'm like, yes, it won't hurt. Because you know what, guys, this is an upright man. But for her, he's willing to be a little corrupt. And I don't blame him. Like, I'm okay with that. I was okay with him doing anything in this drama, honestly. I was such a fan. He could have done anything. To be fair, actually, even in episode 1, when he a person, and I was like, that's how in love I was. Like, I was okay with that. Like, do what you gotta do. I support your wrongs and your rights. It's fine. Just I trusted him. I trusted that he was a good person. But actually there is no but. He was a good person all the way to the end, so it's fine. And uh, okay, I found it really funny how he seemed to actually be convincing. He was convincing other people, but I think he had actually convinced himself that one of the reasons why he was marrying Gujin Choi was the whole political thing of like, oh, if he marries her, then he won't be under his mentor forever. But it's like all of that was a lie, because it didn't really matter who he married because what he did, but like he didn't have to marry Gujin Choi for that, because if we go all the way to episode 1, this man already had made plans. in episode one, when you see him go into that vault of all those files, his plans were already there. So who he married or he didn't marry really wouldn't have mattered because he already had the plans and all of that like played out. So the way he was like, "Oh, I need to do this. I need to marry her for that," and it's like, okay, but you don't have to just say that's because you're down bad. Like, it's okay. Who are you trying to convince here? But anyways, happy marriage to them. They're very cute. I loved them so much. I missed them. But it's fine because I'll always rewatch if I miss them. It won't be the same as watching it this first time, but whatever. Also, let's talk about the plot. Now, I feel like I'm the worst person to sort of talk about plot because I'm willing to overlook a lot of stuff when it comes to the plot as long as I like how the characters are developing and their stories individually and together. So there's certain things that people are like, "Oh, I didn't get that," and I'm like, "Oh, I just kind of didn't even notice it." Or it wasn't that much of a big notice for me. Let's start with the whole thing of like 3 years mourning. So we know that when her mom passes away, Gujinjo's mom passes away, she goes away for 3 years to like for mourning, for a mourning period that's very standard across the land basically. And people were like, well, why didn't they put 3 years later on the screen? And I think they didn't do that. However, they did kind of try to show it in terms of like things that were happening on screen. Like her aunt mentioned as soon as the episode starts, like, oh, she's been here for 3 years. Like, when is she leaving? And there's certain things where they're like, well, it's been 3 years. It's been 3 years. Like, oh yeah, the tax bill. Earlier they mentioned the tax bill, how it's gonna take years, and then when she kind of comes back out, they're like, well, the tax bill took years, but now it's done. And it's like, oh, okay, so there's supposed to be a different time. You're supposed to know that time has passed now. So I just kind of was like, I was fine with that, but I do understand other people wanted to see it on the screen displayed that it's been 3 years for it to be made clearer. And then another thing was the whole thing of the tax bill, because someone said, well, I didn't really understand. I wanted more information about it. And for me, again, I didn't really care much. I think, again, more about the character development than the politics of it all. But I did speak to somebody because I saw a comment and I actually messaged that person. And basically, they were saying that it's something that they kind of expected it to sort of be common knowledge because that dynasty where the drama is centered around, the tax bill and the whole thing about tax is what the dynasty is like famous for. So they kind of expected people to sort of already know. So I guess if you're not and if you're an international person or if you're not very familiar with like Chinese history, for you you're like, what is going on? But for people who are more familiar, they're just kind of like, okay, yeah, I get it. So I think that's one of those things that's like not whether it's the drama catered to an international audience or to a domestic audience. So it seems that apparently more people domestically understood the politics than people internationally because they kind of they approached the whole politics as you should fill in the blanks based on knowledge that you already have. So if you already know, then it makes sense for you. So yeah. And then honestly, in general, like I said, I really enjoy the drama. I do enjoy dramas that are a bit more about families and family politics than they are about like war and stuff when it comes to historical dramas. And I do like the whole business aspect of it. So for me, this was a very good drama. I really enjoyed myself. I will rewatch. Um, Again, the problem that I have with it has to do with time because even the last episode, I did feel the ending was rushed. I do feel like we could have benefited again for another episode or more episodes. So because of that, it's very hard for me to be like, oh, I'm gonna take points off the drama for that because it's like we all know the whole thing about episodes. We know that there was a limit of episodes, and this drama as well was not a big budget drama. It had an average slash small budget to be made anyway. So for things like that, it's like I try to be more understanding, because at the end of the day, I still enjoyed it. I still don't have like major plot holes that can be like, oh, I didn't understand the drama because of that. So it's like it still flowed for me. I still understood what was going on. I still understood the romance. It made sense, the development of the characters. So I can't really have any like I don't really have any complaints that they could have that the production or the writers could have made better without the sort of things that are more external, if I should say. Like, yeah, like if they had a bigger budget, of course, then things could have been different in terms of like lighting, or if like if they had more episodes, then some of the character stuff could have been more fleshed out. Like, for example, I would have loved to see the male and female lead have children, and that's just me being selfish. So I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see them like return home, to have like a whole reunion after everything has happened, instead of just kind of seeing them walking away after everything. I would have kind of loved to see sort of, yeah, like how the, it's like a in the future type of thing, like, oh yeah, the land is prospering and the emperor is getting older and things are working out. So those are things I would have loved to see, but of course they really couldn't do that because they only had 40 episodes to work in. So it's like I can't think of things I'm like, oh, this was a waste of time, you should have removed this, because everything made sense. The only thing is I just wish they had more time, and then they could have added more things that could have made the drama better. But so because of that, I don't really have any big complaints. I'm sorry, I really enjoyed myself. I had fun watching it. I had fun rewatching it. I had fun making videos about it, talking about it, watching and saving all the edits about it. So for me, that's what matters, the fact that I enjoyed myself. And yeah, and I think it's always good. It's always a good thing, like a drama that really that takes me into that world and like takes me out of the real world for however long it is. So for me, I was happy. So for me, this was perfect. And yeah, like I wish all the characters happiness in their lives and in their next lives for those that died. So yeah, I am really sad to see this drama go. And yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see it go. And then since we're talking about made dramas that I watched, let's move on to Dazzling. I started it. I've watched 6 episodes by the time I'm making this video, and it's so good. I think the thing I can say is similar to if you watch the K-drama Hometown Cha Cha Cha. It has the similar vibe of we have a rich girl coming from the city to live in this like coast slash village setting, and she's struggling to adjust. There's slow Wi-Fi, water, the people are different. She's used to a more faster paced life, which is very understandable, because there's very different lifestyles happening there. So yeah, did I find the female lead a bit annoying? Yes, I do feel like she was a bit too uptight. I needed her to loosen up, but she is starting to loosen up because, like I said, I'm on episode 6. So yeah, I will give her some grace in that aspect. The male lead, again, similar to Hometown Cha Cha Cha, where he's like everywhere. He has every job in the world and he's doing them all, and he never relaxes. And I just, I love that. It's funny, and yeah. What should I say? The blonde hair on the male lead. I know based on like the posters and the teasers and we're on that it's not gonna last long. So I'm enjoying the hair whilst we still have it, because I think in Light and Princess the male lead had blonde hair for like 2 or 3 episodes. So I'm enjoying the fact that we're still on episode 6 and his hair's still blonde. So I'll take what I can get, because he does look really good with the blonde hair. But yeah, the story's developing. It is nice and it's very homey, and everybody's so villagey, so it's fun. I will say though, because the drama is based off a book by the same author who did Speed and Love, And just in case she ever sees this, or somebody who knows her ever sees this, I just want to say it's okay to write a book where the people's relationship is not like family ambiguous, because in this, they're not blood related, but their moms were adopted sisters. Like male lead's mom was adopted into the female lead's mom's family. So there's no blood relation, but their moms still saw each other as sisters at some point. And when they're introduced to each other, they're like, "Oh, you're cousins," and it's like you now have feelings for your cousin, and it just doesn't feel that great, does it? But anyways, otherwise, it is a nice developing story. I can't wait to see how the story unfolds. So yeah, I'm enjoying Dazzling for now. And Ashes to Crown featuring Zhou Yuran and Chen Duling just got announced June 2nd. And then the first Jasmine, also known as Molly, with Bai Lu and Chen Lei, also got announced for the 9th of June. So I can't wait for those. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go not rewatch A Splendid Match. I promise I'll find other things to do instead of rewatching that drama. So yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.